Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome to those of you who are new to the channel, the Freedom Income YouTube channel. So I wanted to share a quick video with you on the SwingVIP EA bot. I've actually already shared a few videos in the past over the last 5 months or so, 5 or 6 months, videos on this SwingVIP bot, which I've been using up to date now. About 5 or 6 months I've been using this bot. First 5.5 months, even more than that. The first, literally, apart from the last 2 weeks, I was getting really good results. This is a fantastic bot. Everything's great, and it just makes money from me automatically. The only time that was quite bad was the US election, which was around about December last year, 2020, when this bot went to about 25% in drawdown, and that put me off a bit, but it came back very fast, and so I let it trade. But now it's the worst ever, and it only really just started 2 weeks ago. So I have a £4,000 account, as you can see, and it's now like 2,500 almost in red, which is like 65% or something, 60%, whatever. So I've done a few videos on this, and I've also updated you with this drawdown. In fact, even bigger, I believe last week was a video. So if you haven't seen it already, you can watch that one. But I wanted to also show you how this can actually work, and it's partly my fault. I didn't set this right. Again, I think the when I installed it, the company that I purchased it from, I believe they advised for the indicator or for the expert advisor just to be installed on the default settings. However, there is a setting inside which I should have done, or we should have done, that would have limited our drawdown, right? So if you don't set it, if you just set it on default, the drawdowns virtually are limited, right? You don't, like, the last thing you want in forex trading is to have a strategy, or whatever you do, even a scalping strategy, which is very, very effective. You don't want to be winning most of your trades, and then one trade or two trades, boom, your account blows up. That's the last thing you want. Risk control is so important in forex. I cannot stress this enough. So I didn't like this bot, this EA, in terms of its risk control, because there was very little. However, if you actually set it, you can actually set it. So if you just right click here, and then you go to SwingVIP settings, right? You go to the expert advisor settings, which is SwingVIP here. What you want to do, you just want to scroll down, right? And you want to go to this bit here, close by loss, right? See, look, the default settings is false, right? But what you want to do, in fact, you can even look at some of the other settings if you want to change it, depending on what you want. Like there's martingale as well. You might want martingale like truth. Just depends. Just play with it. Martingale or multiply, or profit by pips, like when do you want to close them instead of not closing them, whatever you want. But the one thing I believe that I have to change, I won't change it just yet, because just in case if I change it and everything bloody closes and I'm like 60% in the red, because especially I believe that because the two trades that are actually in the deepest red are the New Zealand CAD and the CAD CHF, right? But if you look at the charts, I'm also a manual trader. On the daily, the New Zealand CAD is so oversold, it's so cheap. The RSI super low as well. Everything just about it is just super oversold. It's just a matter of time before that recovers, I believe. Same with the CAD CHF. I think is a bit overbought. It's going to drop soon. So I do believe most of this will come back, which is why I'm leaving it for now. Once it comes back to about 1,500, I'll then change this, and I'll update this, and I'll probably keep running it for some time just to see how it goes. So what you want to do is close by loss, right? Instead of having it on false, you want to change this to true. Right, and then the loss, you want to double click, and then you want to click 30, right, and then you want to click OK. I won't click OK here because I don't want to just in case they close. So I'm going to do true and 30, right? So that means by the time this EA, your account is 30% down in drawdown, it will close all your trades for you. So you cannot possibly lose more than 30% of your account, right? That's what we should have done. That's what I should have done. Which I didn't, but I think when it does come back to about 1,500, I'll do it, and then we'll see what happens. So it can still work, which is why I wanted to do this other video, just to update you guys, because this EA, I have been using it for some time. I mean, I started about 5-6 months ago with just £500 account. I traded on that for about a month, and that went up. That was really good, and there was very little drawdown. So I put another £1,000 in. So that's 1,500, and then I tried £1,500 trading for about 2 months before I put another £2,500 in, right? So really, I've only had £2,500 in here for about a month and a half, just under 2 months, right? Because before that I had less. So my total investment in is £2,500, and don't forget it was 500 to start with, and then 1,500. So even based on that, with a total investment of £2,500, my account's already £4,000 after 5 or 6 months. Remember, it would have been more if I started with 2,500, which I didn't, right? So that's pretty good for me. I was quite happy with it. Drawdown was always low, usually like less than 10%, to be honest. There was only twice sort of last year was once went to about 15%, and then during the US election went to about 25% or so, but they all came back, so I kept it running. But this time around, 65% is just a bit too much in terms of drawdown. It just, you just cannot trade forex with that little risk management, right? But the last video, if you watch my previous videos, everything I've just said can be confirmed. So here, watch my previous videos on the SwingVIP or the EA bot anyway. So here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change, like I've just said, I'm going to change it to true. And if you're using it, or if you plan to use it, I would advise you to set it on true and 30%. That way, your maximum drawdown or risk is 30% of account. You cannot possibly blow up if you trade it this way, which is what I should have done, right? So if it can still work, I think, because 6 months, only one time it is this much drawdown. Every other time was less than 25%, and it was making good money. So it could still work, but definitely have it so that it's true or 30%, I think, just in case. And you can see that these kind of incidents don't happen very regular, don't happen very often. They just happen once in a blue moon, right? In the last 6 months or so, I've been using this as the first time. So, it could still work. So I wanted to share that with you. And the place that you would get this SwingVIP from is the Sinri Advice website. I'll leave a link in the description area, and also include a discount code, Magic Yin, because if you use the Magic Yin discount code, you can actually receive a discount. And if you buy it through my link and use the discount code, you can get a discount. So it's only $98, which is pretty good. MG Pro is actually better with a lower drawdown, but it's like triple the price. It's up to you. But again, I've been doing some research, and I want to share this with you guys as well. In fact, you could check my previous video as well, which I go into a lot of detail about this. If you look at this one, Forex Fury, this is an EA. Look, this is TrustPilot. The reviews are fantastic, 4.5 stars. You can look into it and just have a look. What's this? I was hoping that I would have this, but these are tips for avoiding big money problems based on personal experience. If you have, well, anyway, read this one. This is actually a new review which just came out. So read that. If that puts you off, don't bother. But I've done some research, and this is what I see. Look, most of them are really good reviews. See, like 4 or 5 star reviews, right? And this is TrustPilot, which is usually trustworthy, and also overall like 4.5 stars. It's not bad. And if you actually go to Forex Robot Nation, this is their top. This is their number one bot, which they recommend. 10 years now they've been using it apparently. So, but it's up to you. You have to do your due diligence, right? And this bot, the other good thing I quite like about it is that maximum 93% winning percentage, which is actually higher than the SwingVIP, and also at the same time the what else is there? The drawdown, if you actually have a look, it's actually less. It's actually 20% according to what they claim anyway. But anyway, the claims are claims. So you want to be doing your due diligence and have a look at it, and take a look at it yourself. But I thought I'd also mention that for those of you who are interested in EA trading, because this is the number one rated bot by Forex Robot Nation, and they seem to have some good reviews on like, see here, for example. There's good reviews there. They seem to have pretty good reviews, and also on TrustPilot, so that's pretty good. Also, they've got a longer track record, like quite a few years, instead of just, I think Sinri Advice has been around for about 2 years, whereas they've been around for longer. Although Sinri Advice, at least they claim that they've been testing the bot for 3 years before they launched it, and then they launched it, and they've launched it for about nearly 2 years. So arguably, it's been a 5-year test. So, and if you actually look at both of them, Forex Fury or Sinri Advice, on the via my FX book, if you just type it in here, both of them, if you look at it, the back testing results are actually good. I'm not going to show you again because all my previous videos I showed you. So you can look at it yourself. If you just type in SwingVIP EA, if you just type it here, just what you might have to log in. But last year, right? Not this is not last year, but if you log in, you see last year the bot made about 100% ROI for investors. Now I think it was about 96% or something, right? And no, it was a bit less than what they claimed because they claimed 20% on average a month, which is about 200% a year. But don't forget, last year we had COVID and we had U.S. elections. Consider those two events, the bot still made nearly 100% based on back testing. It's pretty decent. So again, you want to take these with a pinch of salt. You don't want to just go for it and then go all in. I personally would not, even no matter which EA, whether it's this EA or the SwingVIP EA, if I was to try it from Sinri Advice, I wouldn't. You want to take. You don't want to, especially if you don't know how these work. You want to start it perhaps in a demo account. I'll recommend it, or you start it small, $500 literally, and that's it, minimum, right? But you need $500 actually before you trade those EAs anyway. So you want to have $500 minimum, but I wouldn't recommend starting with a huge amount of money like all your bank account in it, because if you're holding 65% red, it can be quite scary, especially so I'll just click on this. You can look at it again. I'll include a link. If you follow my link, use the discount code, you can get it. This looks pretty decent. Again, it's partly my fault. If he had set the drawdown at 30% max, it wouldn't have happened. But anyway, we learn, we grow. Again, I look at this as any particular trade, we could potentially lose 50% of our capital if we don't limit the risk, right? If we limit the risk, it would have never happened. Again, even with the stock market, whatever you trade or whatever you invest in, right? If you limit the risk, is okay. Stocks are arguably safer because if you invest in the right bullish stocks, they almost always come back during a bull market anyway. But I'm just saying, if you don't limit your risk, again, the way to think is potentially any trade you take could lose you 50% of your capital. Are you happy to put maybe say $100,000 in a robot and lose $50,000? Is that too much of a loss for you? Perhaps. But for me, I put £2,500 in. If I was going to lose 1,000 or £1,500, sorry, £2,500 I put in. If I lost £1,000 out of that, I mean, sure, nobody wants to lose money, but £1,000 is okay. I mean, it's just it's not going to kill me. Nobody wants to lose money, but that losing £1,000, I'm almost unaffected. So, but however, at the same point, if this EA worked, if you set your settings correctly over the year, over 2 years, perhaps this even £2,000 can grow to 10,000 or 15 or 20,000 pounds, even if you do the math, because you're compounding, right? Because if you start with 2,000 by month one, consider it works, right? So you got to set the settings right, and you got to find an EA that works. And I think this could work. I mean, I've tried it for 6 months. The only reason it's so much drawdowns are because of our settings were wrong. But if the settings were right, everything was good, you were making on average, let's even call it 15%, right, per month. Let's just call it 10% a month, right? If you make 10% a month, being a bit reserved, right, which is what happened last year with the back testing. If you make 10% a month, so you put 2,000 in, second month is 2,200. Third month, you just keep adding to 2,500, and then it's 3,000, and then it's 3.5, and then it's 4,000, and it just it compounds from there. So after a year or two, you probably got a £15,000 account, naturally built from a £2,000 account. But that's that all in all, that's what you want to happen. I'm not saying that this EA will do that, especially looking at the drawdown like at this size. Is it going to do that for you? But if you do the settings right, perhaps, maybe start small and just let it build and see what happens. And I thought I'd update you with this video because the last video perhaps was a little bit unfair because the settings were wrong. So, just thought I'd update you, and I will continue to provide you guys with what I believe has value and the truth. Basically, I'll be as honest and as truthful as I can be, because I believe that's the way you should be as a human being, and be helpful and provide good value. So thank you guys. If you haven't subscribed already, do consider subscribing to the channel, and happy trading.